Hello everyone, I all hope you had a very, very wonderful day and a very, very blessed day, guys, indeed. As you can see, guys, I'm still doing the next episode, and this episode is about a group of Four Nation Hunter Council members who are known as the Sacred Council, and who are exactly led by a group of Four Nation Hunters, who are exactly led by a group of Four Nation Hunter elders and leaders of the Four Nation Hunters, like a group of a council, a council group. But this council is quietly, it's a sacred council led by a group of another Four Nation Hunter council, leaders of old men and old wise women who are exactly hunters, old hunters who have existed for many many centuries and for many many millennia during the course of this sacred galactic war that's been going on for many centuries and for many many millennia. So guys, as you can see, we're going to be discussing that, and we're going to exactly be talking about this council and about their purpose and their goals and their mission, and what exactly is how they were connected with the universal heroes and with the alliance, and how they connected to the Four Nation Hunters and to the rest of sacred history and to the rest of the sacred world and to the rest of the sacred universe, and also with the intergalactic coalition as well. Well, as you can see, guys, today is such a very beautiful day. It's very, very quietly hot as it is as it is, guys, and you can see that the wind is still blowing up. The sky is quietly blue, even very beautiful. Guys, I always exactly saying this to you, always appreciate your support and your support, and you guys viewing my episodes, every single one of them. It means a lot to me, and I'll keep saying this to you, telling you guys I'm very grateful for your support, and I'm truly, truly, truly grateful for it. It means a lot to me. Have a wonderful and a blessed day. So let's continue this episode. The Four Nation Hunt, the Sacred Council, was quietly formed many, many centuries ago throughout the course of the Sacred Galactic War that's been continuing over the following ages. In doing so, the council was quietly formed by the Four Nation Hunters in order to take drastic actions in fighting sinister forces of evil and a group of powerful supervillains, such as a group of ancient supervillains known as the Dark King, Dark Grey, Victor Darkness, Lord Six, the original Lord of Magic, the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful, Ember, the Goddess of Power, Witch of Power, and Lord Winter and Lord Winter King and Lord Justin, and also Lord Shadow Jack and also Lord Shadow Jack and Lord Power and Lord Power and Lord Fate and the Dark Fates, in order to fighting these sinister forces of evil, and also in taking them down before they can exactly control the sacred world and the sacred universe and the known universe for their own sinister goals, in order to fit their own goals and their plans in placing their sole dominance to the rest of the galaxy, into the rest of sacred existence by any and all means necessary. During that course of that long life of their time, the original members of the Four Nation Hunters continue fighting against the monsters, in assisting the Four Nation Hunters into stopping the monsters from exactly wreaking havoc throughout the mortal world, meaning planet Earth itself, meaning the realm, planet Earth itself. They'll continue to fighting against the monsters and against the dark monsters who were quietly summoned by the dark magic users known as a second, in order to annihilate the Four Nation Hunters and to exterminate them from existence, meaning permanently and for good. During at that time, one Four Nation Hunter leader decided in order to form the Sacred Council, and under the advisement of the other Four Nation Hunter, in order to exactly further its goals and mission, with the purpose of two different types of purpose: to maintaining sacred peace, to protecting humankind and saving humanity from the forces of evil and from the forces of darkness, and forming an alliance with any other superheroes throughout the world who can exactly maintain the sacred peace and also the sacred galactic peace as well, with the aliens and with the supernaturals, and maintaining and bringing hope and love and harmony throughout the physical world and throughout the supernatural world and throughout the alien world and throughout the galaxy and throughout the sacred universe and throughout sacred existence, no matter what, by any means necessary. That also has to be maintained as well. So those goals were quietly imminent, and those goals were exactly used for a given purpose, in order to maintain the peace and love and focus toward the sacred world and toward the rest of sacred existence by any means necessary. Despite this, the Four Nation Hunter leaders decided in order to form the council, which they exactly did so out of love and out of love and out of facing a desperate time, out of desperate hand, realizing that the original Lord of Magic was in power and that he was using his power to exterminate, planning to exterminate the supernaturals and the aliens of the sacred world and the aliens of the sacred world and of the sacred universe by any and all means necessary. The Four Nation Hunters continue waging war against the monsters that were coming out of the dark dimension with the intention of wiping out and destroying humanity in a process, no matter what exactly. The Four Nation Hunters were quietly given with the purpose of protecting humanity and the rest of humankind and planet Earth and the other worlds in the other dimensions by any means necessary, by fighting this war in complete secrecy in order to protect humanity and mankind from what's really going on. This war has to be kept a secret, and it's called the Sacred War for a reason, because it's a secretive war that's been going on for many, many centuries and for many millennia. The reason it's called the Secretive War, it's because it's a secret sacred galactic conflict that's been going on for many years. No one inside humanity has to know even about it, because once they hear about it, they will be quietly killed, or rather to be removed out of the way externally. Their lives will be quietly in danger by any means necessary. The Four Nation Hunters and the Five Nation Hunters decided that humanity doesn't have to know about this sacred galactic conflict or war, rather than the public heroes who are quietly fighting to protect humanity from the public villains, which is a good thing for them in order for them to continue their work and their mission would exactly help them to further their goals and their mission and their righteous purpose by any means necessary. So the council was quietly formed, and so was the sacred council. In doing so, the council and the Four Nation Hunter Council decided to work together into stopping the monsters from wreaking havoc, from wreaking a large gratitude of havoc, into finding out exactly who was behind opening the portals from the dark dimension and leaking them out into the physical world in order for the monsters to wreak havoc and chaos and creating carnage and despair throughout the human world and throughout the rest of sacred existence. One of the other Four Nation Hunter Council decided in order to work with the other magical users such as the warlocks, the light druids, the light witches, fairies, light keepers, knowledge keepers, wisdom keepers, power keepers, energy keepers, and also magical creatures in order to ask for their assistance in this war, in order to help them use their magical abilities in attacking the source of this dark dimension portal in which has been created. One of the other warlocks were known as Baal, supplied his services to the Four Nation Hunters in order to sense exactly where the energy of the dark portal has been activated. And according to his sensory of magical perception, he was able to detect that the dark portal's energy was exactly radiating from another powerful dark dimension, which is quietly unknown throughout the physical space and time itself, throughout space and time itself. And judging by this trajectory, he was able to detect that there was a huge power source of dark, powerful dark magic at play that is even more deadly and more dangerous than Darkron and Darkness. Darkron and Darkness are the most powerful, formidable dark witches ever existed throughout the rest of the sacred world and throughout the rest of sacred history. They are powerful, deadly, ruthless, and cruel, and very, very ambitious with their goals and with their missions. Just for you guys to know that. Despite this, Bayer was able to completely his scan and sensory of the energy of the magic, telling the Four Nation Hunter Council that whoever's exactly summoning these monsters and quietly opening the portal between worlds and dimensions is very powerful and very ancient, and they have quietly existed for many, many centuries and for many millennia. The Four Nation Hunter Council decided it's best that they focus their attention and everything else on the monsters, rather to provoke an ancient threat known as the original Lord of Magic, who's quietly in power and is still in power. During the course of the many years, while the Four Nation Hunters and the other hunters of the Five Nation Hunters and the 10 Nation Hunters continued to wage their war against the monsters and anything like that, while the original Lord Magic was in power, news came flying of the new Universal Man and of the new Universal Heroes and of the newly forged alliance, a group of Four Nation Hunter families that come together in order to fight for a common goal to maintaining sacred peace, sacred justice, sacred love, and sacred hope, and also to protecting humanity at all costs and by any means necessary, and protecting the known universe and the sacred galaxy and the sacred world from all threats and from all sinister forces, and also protecting the supernaturals of the sacred world and as well as the aliens of the sacred universe, no matter what. When the rumors exactly came flying through, the Formation Council and the Sacred Council were quite relieved that there's hope for once and for all in order to put an end to the Lolo magic. They decided it's best that they keep on focusing their attention by fighting the monsters that are coming up from the dark dimension in order to stop them from spreading like a plague, in order to stop them from spreading like a disease or like a plague that could infect the rest of the known universe by any means necessary. On the 1st of February, news came flying around that the original Lolo magic was quietly facing his demise and was quietly dead, which created a huge power vacuum within the Shadow Empire itself, forcing every other Shadow Empire warlord and commander to form a secretive alliance with other ancient secret society, of supervillains such as the Founders, the Order of the Five, the Order of the Six, the Order of the Seven, the Order of Power, the Order of the 12, the Sacred Circle, Lord Justin, Lord Shadowjack, Lord Ra, and Master Bond himself as well, in order for them to form an alliance and continue supplying these secretive organizations of supervillains with destructive and powerful technology. Realizing that the new Universal Man exactly kept up his word that it will put an end to the original magic, which exactly created a huge power vacuum. Instead, the Four Nation Hunter Council and the rest of the Sacred Council decided to form an alliance and become allies of the Intergalactic Coalition and of the Universal Heroes in assisting them in taking down sinister forces and sinister threats that will exactly threaten the sacred peace and the rest of sacred existence, no matter what. On the 3rd of February, the Four Nation Hunter Council decided to meet up with the new Universal Man. The Universal Man exactly presented himself that he's the son of the original Universal Man and of the original Universal Woman, who are the most powerful superiors ever existed, who are quietly dedicated to maintaining sacred peace and protecting humanity from all sinister threats and from all powerful criminals who would exactly abuse their power and their skills in order to terrorizing humanity and all of that. And he was quietly charged with the destiny to protecting humankind. And he revealed his secret identity to the Four Nation Hunter Council, and he told his name and surname that he's Grayson Ferris Unity. He's the son of Greg Unity and the son of Crystal Ferris. The original Universal Man is Greg Unity, Universal Man, Greg Unity, and the original Universal Woman is Crystal Ferris, who bore the prophesied child as Grayson Ferris Unity. That is exactly the new Universal Man, if you guys quietly understand that. He exactly presented himself to the Four Nation Hunter Council leader, and he exactly shook hands that they'll be that together, they'll be in allies, that they'll be exactly joining forces, and they'll become allies in order to fighting against their common enemy and against their worst foe, who would exactly threaten the sacred peace and the rest of the sacred world and the rest of humanity, no matter what. During at that time, they were able to liberate major worlds from the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders on the 13th of February, able to save many worlds and many planets. In doing so, other alien worlds and other aliens empire, other alien worlds and other alien civilizations wanted to conquer many worlds and vast civilization. The Intergalactic Coalition needed the help of the Four Nation Hunters, realizing that the resources were quietly stretched within in keeping the Shadow Empire warlord and in keeping the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders at bay with the resources of their battle cruisers and warships that are quietly keeping the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders occupied during at that time. The Four Nation Hunter leaders saw that the monsters from the dark dimension are coming out and are literally being coming out from the other portal. The other warlocks and other magical users such as the Light Sisters and the Dream Sisters who are new members of the Universal Heroes and the new members of the Universal Earth Heroes able to join up in order to assist them fighting against their common enemy. The Four Nation Hunter Council realized that the monsters from the other dimension are coming out and the situation is spiraling out of control one way or another. He needed the help of Baal, the Warlock, a powerful warlock superhero who's a member of the Alliance and a member of the Universal Heroes. In doing so, he asked for his help, and he asked for his services. He enlisted the other warlocks in order to assist him in order to closing up a portal between dimensions and between worlds, which was able to do so on the 20th of February. He sealed up the portal, and the Four-Nation Hunters were able to successfully destroy and disintegrate and decimate the other monsters, and able to exactly send them back throughout the dark dimension is where they come from. The war between the monsters and the Four-Nation Hunters and the other hunters continue to wage on and continue to go on for at least a month and a year, while the other Four-Nation Hunter console and realizes that there's a new leader of magic who's exactly ruling and manipulating the console to his advantage, using his connections and influence and power throughout the sacred underworld in order to control and manipulate the console. Universal Man and the original Four-Nation Hunter console realize that the Intergalactic Coalition has become compromised, and that they will have to do everything else in their power in order to take down the spies and the moles who have become compromised for the mission, and also as well for the jurisdiction, in order to stop them from opposing their goals and their mission. During on the first of March, when the Four-Nation Hunter Council was put into a vote in order to take down the original Roman magic, the other council members decided not to exactly take down the original, to take down the newly noble magic, rather to face him and his ancient secret society in order to take them down. They all decided it's best and would not be best to provoke a powerful threat, while the original member of the council decided it's best to exactly take down the enemy while he's still quietly rising in power. The other members of the other council voted yes to take down the newly noble magic. To take down the newly noble magic and his ancient secret society, while the other council also voted not to take him down. Meaning it was quite the five votes and 5 votes against taking him down and also not taking him down. Realizing that the votes were quietly even, it was only left for the other original leader, who also decided it's best that they have to take him down no matter what. Which was quietly best not to take him down no matter what, which was quietly 6 votes against 5 votes. The odds were not quietly looking up good. The councilman realizes that the Four-Nation Hunter Council and Sacred Council and the Intergalactic Coalition have become compromised. During at that day, one of the other Four-Nation Hunter Council was able to spot Red Knight throughout Sacred City, speaking to one of the other Four-Nation Hunter Council, telling him that what he did was a very good job in compromising the council, and that his mission was quietly good work, and that he'll be gravely rewarded, as he said to Red Knight as well. Realizing that the Intergalactic Coalition of Four-Nation Hunter Council had become compromised and had been manipulated by the enemy and by the most powerful enemies, realizing that he decided to take drastic action and drastic measures into protecting the sacred world and the rest of humanity from a greater evil and from a greater threat that could undo their hard work and their efforts in maintaining sacred peace and the rest of sacred world's peace and protecting humanity at the cost. On the 1st of April, the Four-Nation Council was able to arrive at the cave arriving at the headquarters of the Universal Heroes Cave, able to speak with Firebird and Universal Earthman and Universal Man, telling them that the Intergalactic Coalition has become compromised, and the agents within the Intergalactic Coalition are now working for the they are working for the newly noble magic, and now they are becoming his agent, able to corrupt the council from within, stating that he'll do whatever he can to fight this from within in order to stop the enemy from manipulating the console, while the Universal Men exactly try to update him on his last update with his last mission, stating that Red Master is quietly planning to conquer the known universe and the rest of sacred existence, making sure that his empire is becoming the sole dominance, and the Universal King, on the other hand, is trying to take down his son, known as the Universal Prince, and his ancient secret society of supervillains, known as Yoda the Top, from sitting at the Universal Throne and thrusting the known universe into chaos and destruction in order to rule the universe and the rest of sacred existence, meaning that their resources are quietly stretched in a way quietly occupied by fighting all the sinister threats and all other powerful supervillains in order to take them down, and with their schemes that are quietly highly effective, with their teams that are quietly highly equipped in order to take down the Four-Nation Hunter Council. But the Universal Earth Heroes will be able to back them up and also quietly assist them with their missions, and as well with their plans in taking out the compromised agent, while they quietly shake hands that they'll forever remain allies no matter what. On the 1st of May, the Four-Nation Hunter Council was able to speak up with the compromised Four-Nation Hunter Council, telling him that he knows that he's a very compromised council and that he'll do everything else in his power to take him down. realizing that he has no further proof or evidence of this, he told him straightly to his face that he will take him down no matter what, even if it means by taking him down straightly throughout the inside of the foreign enchanter console and straightly throughout the inside of the sacred console. One of the foreign enchanter console were able to tell him that the war is just beginning and it's just getting started and it's about to get a whole lot of a messy. The Shadow Empire warlords and commanders secretly spoke to the foreign enchanter console, who was an agent of the new leader of magic, telling him that they saw their allegiance and their loyalty to the new leader of magic and that everything else is quietly in place. Seeing the demise of Mayor Bear at that time, the demise of Mayor Bear and Eric's son, the ambassador of the Thunder Heroes, is quietly sit at the throne of Thunderworld, realizing that the heroes are quietly not to be underestimated. He quite greatly informed the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders to mysteriously conquer many worlds and many planets as much as possible and secretly place them under the control of the new leader of magic and also under the control of the new leader of the Shadow Empire known as Red Bolt and his organization known as the Dark Order by any and all means necessary, which they were able to secretly shake hands and also statistically able to agree on that point on that matter, and he was quietly happy. The Foreign Enchanter Council was able to train throughout his hand-to-hand combat with one of the Foreign Ancient Hunter console on the second of May in order to take out his frustration on telling him that the console is really compromised and that there's nothing else he cannot exactly do about it but to fix the situation from the very within in order to take down the enemy from within. One of the other Foreign Enchanter consoles told him that he has to do exactly whatever it takes to fight the enemy from within, no matter how hard it gets. And this war is only gonna get nasty and more darker than ever been. And the enemy is growing in power throughout the shadows and throughout in secrecy. And he's gonna do all it takes to build his power and to rise and to rise from the shell to command the Shadow Empire. And if he ever does that, he'll be too powerful in order to place his soul tournaments on the known universe and the rest of sacred existence, and he'll continue to wipe out and exterminate the supernaturals and the aliens of the sacred world. That could create further chaos and further destruction and more further uprising of the supernaturals of the sacred world and of the aliens of the sacred world, and that cannot exactly happen, which he sadistically agreed to the Foreign Enchanter Council, and he quietly shook hands with him that he has a plan up in Ace and Easy. The Foreign Enchanter Council decided to confront one of the corrupt console, the Foreign Enchanter Council, in order to tell him that today it exactly stops, meaning realizing that the Foreign Enchanter Council was quietly ready onto him, able to exactly prevent him before he can exactly able to take out Kabuku. He was sadistically able to neutralize him with one of those taser blades, and was able to tase him, stating that he was already onto him long before, and was able to take him captive, meaning that everything else will fall accordingly to plan, the way it was rigged to go right from the very beginning. He was able to meet up with the Universal Heroes on the 4th of May, telling him that the Foreign Enchanter Council is quietly unprecedented at the moment, but everything else will be folding to him. The Intergalactic Coalition will do all they can in its power and capacity to fight against the Shadow Empire warlords and against Red Bolt's leadership and taking down the Dark Order, no matter what. The Universal Heroes and Universal Earth Boy did not exactly believe the Council when they sadistically did not exactly trust him, meaning that he's really quietly corrupt and he's really quietly compromised by the new level magic, meaning that they will have to do everything else in their power and capacity to taking him down. He was able to exactly meet up with the Foreign Enchanter Council, who he quietly took captive as a hostage in order to tell him that the situation is completely falling straightly according to plan, the way it was rigged, and everything else is really quietly in place. Nothing he can exactly do in order to stop the plan that already quietly in motion. And the Foreign Enchanter Council that he will not succeed with these plans as the Universal Heroes and the Universal Earth Heroes and the United Heroes and the Intergalactic Coalition and the abilities cannot be underestimated. And that he quietly agreed with him that they cannot exactly be secretly underestimated. One of the Foreign Enchanter Council were able to arrive to the central command of the central headquarters of the Shadow Empire on the 15th of May, telling Red Bolt that everything else is under control, the situation is under yours, and the Intergalactic Coalition is already fallen through its grace, meaning that there's a rift within the Foreign Enchanter Council and the Sacred Council. Now the new needle of magic and the Star Empire can proceed in conquering the sacred universe and the sacred world as planned. And Red Bolt was quietly happy and very, very sadistically pleased, meaning that the situation is falling under control, meaning that Red Bolt can finally rule and conquer the Star Universe and the Star Empire by removing the Star Prince and the Star Witch Queen out of the way, meaning permanently for good. And he was sadistically happy that his forces are now ready to begin launching their full heavy assault on the Star Universe, and on the Star Empire. Realizing that the Star Empire is really quite ahead of him and really quite prepared in order to wage war with the Sacred Universe and with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders and with the Shadow Empire itself, meaning that the preparations are set and everything else is ready to begin. And then one of the other foreign enchanter council members were all happy and sadistically quite pleased. On the 1st of June, the foreign enchanter council members were able to meet up, saying that the Star Empire is preparing in order to launch a full heavy assault on the Sacred Universe and on the Sacred World, meaning the intergalactic coalition needs to stop fighting against the Shadow Empire warlords and the other alien clans and empires such as the Habikan Core and the other alien empires who are planning to conquer the known universe and the rest of sacred existence, meaning they have to put their focus on the Star Empire and in stopping it by placing its sole dominance to the sacred universe and to the sacred world, which they also distantly agree, except for one consummate who exactly asked a question about what happened to the original Foreign Enchanter consulman. He told her that the Foreign Enchanter consulman is quietly on a secretive mission, on a top secretive black ops mission in taking down a sinister organization such as the Holy Alliance and stopping them with their goals by becoming the sole rulers of the cosmos by any means necessary, which she distantly didn't exactly believe in. She was able to meet up with the Universal Heroes on the second of June during one of their central headquarters, telling him that the Foreign Enchanter Council and Secret Council and the members of the Intergalactic Coalition had become compromised, and they're exactly working for the newly Little Magic and his ancient secret society, and they're also working for the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders right now, and that they cannot exactly be trusted. And they're preparing to launch a full heavy-scale attack on the Star Empire and on the Star Universe. No matter what, this could be an all-out war, and the monsters from the Dark Dimension are already coming out in order to wage war with the 4 Nation Hunters and with the 5 Nation Hunters, meaning that the war itself is it's coming out of a spiral. It's literally spiraling out of control already, and meaning that the situations are literally about out of the control. Universal Man stated that the Universal Earth Heroes will assist in order to stop the Star Empire and the Star Universe from conquering the Sacred Universe and placing their sole dominance throughout the known universe and throughout the Sacred Universe and throughout the Sacred World, no matter what, while they prevent the newly Little Magic and his ancient secret society of supervillains from exterminating the supernaturals and the aliens of the Sacred World, no matter what. Wizards of Destiny agreed. He told them that they should keep their eyes open up on the members of the Intergalactic Coalition who have become compromised and who cannot exactly remain trusted, because they're now agents of Red Bolt and his organization known as the Dark Order, and they're officially working for him, and they cannot exactly be seriously be trusted. And that he completely agreed with Universal Man. They completely exactly hug each other, meaning that they have to be safe on both fronts and they have to look after each other, and they will forever remain allies no matter what. And that is exactly what they're successfully able to agree. Despite this, guys, the 4 Nation Hunter Council and the Sacred Council are members of the Intergalactic Coalition, but the Intergalactic Coalition itself has become compromised and it's been manipulated by the newly Little Magic and his ancient sixth society of supervillains known as the Order of Power, with the goal and a mission of conquering the known universe and the sacred world, and by placing its sole dominance and control throughout the rest of sacred existence, with the goal of wiping out the supernaturals and the aliens of the sacred world no matter what, and by removing the universal heroes out of the way. The Sacred Council and the Foreign Enchanter Council have existed for centuries, meaning for centuries, since the original Little Magic was in power and able to command the Shadow Empire, leading the Shadow Empire to greatness and to great authority. Even now, the other members of the Foreign Enchanter Council are not exactly corrupt or compromised by the enemy. Some of them are exactly still allies of the Universal Heroes and of the Alliance and of the Intergalactic Coalition, and the members of the Intergalactic Coalition are still allies of the Universal Heroes. Some of them are not exactly corrupt or compromised by the enemy's influence or manipulations. They're still exactly fighting for what they believe in, and they'll exactly do whatever they can in their power and in their capacity to free the sacred universe and the sacred world from the forces of evil, and by taking down powerful criminals who are willing to abuse their power and their abilities in controlling the rest of sacred existence and the rest of humanity, no matter what. what, despite this, guys, the Foreign Center Council has a mission and has a purpose in order to fighting the monsters of the Dark Dimension, which have been summoned, and been released by an unknown force of evil, which an unknown force of evil is not yet to exactly to be revealed. But I'll tell you about that force of evil. I'll tell you about that force of evil another day. But don't worry, guys, I will tell you about that other force of evil another day. But just relax, it will come. It's just a powerful dog witch who is effectively a very powerful queen who leads the monsters through greatness and through great authority. But I will tell you about her story another day, so just have patience and finesse. Anyway, despite this, the Foreign Center Council have a mission and a jurisdiction and a purpose to fighting the dark monsters that come from the dark dimension, and by banishing them back straightly toward the dark dimension, no matter what. They help the Foundation Hunters in restoring peace and balance throughout the world of humanity, and throughout the sacred world, and throughout the supernatural world, and throughout the rest of sacred existence, no matter what. They believe that their goal is just that, and they form an alliance with powerful superheroes such as the Universal Heroes, World Heroes, United Heroes, Fire Heroes, Universal Space Heroes, Universal Defending Heroes, the Alliance and the Intergalactic Coalition, and the Water Heroes, who believe in their goals and their mission to restoring peace and balance throughout the rest of sacred existence. They're willing to do whatever it takes to bring down their worst enemy and their greatest enemy, known as the newly Lord of Magic and his ancient secret society, and taking other powerful enemies such as the Dark King, Dark Grey, Queen Ivy, Mr. X, Dark Witch Boy, Dark Witch Girl, Dark Druids, Dark Witches, Dark Faithful, Ice Children, Water Children, the Ice Clan, and the Ice Druids, and the Hobbiton Core Empire, Dark Master, Lord Power, Lord Justin, Lord Ra, the Sacred Circle, Zendak and his Shadow Empire fleet, and the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, the Dark Witches and the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Druids and the Dark Faithful, Sacred Five, and the Order of the Five, and the Order of the Six, and the Order of the Seven, and the founders, Darkron and her brother, and Darkness, the most powerful Dark Witch ever existed, and the Dark Sisters, and the Dark Brothers, and by fighting these forces of evil that oppose the good of humanity, no matter what, and restoring sacred peace to the sacred world and to the known universe, no matter what. That is their goal and their mission, to protecting humanity in secret, by protecting humanity in secret, and by fighting for what's good for humanity, and by banishing and decimating the monsters that come from the dark dimension, no matter what, guys. The Foreign Center Council and the Sacred Council have existed for many centuries, and they've lived for many centuries and for many millennia. They're immortal beings. They are half human and half hunter. They've existed for many centuries, and they're like hybrids themselves who've existed for many centuries ago. They are old men and very greatly with great wisdom and with great care and with great love, but some of them are quietly corrupt and are quietly manipulated by the enemies, manipulated by one of their greatest enemies and one of their greatest foes and one of their greatest adversaries at the moment. But currently, some of them are not exactly corrupt or manipulated by the enemies, as they're quietly smart and they carry full wisdom and full hope and full belief that humanity deserves to be saved no matter what. Their purpose and their mission is to fight and banish the forces of evil and to remove the dark monsters that come from the dark dimension, and to destroy the enemy's plans before they come into bear fruition. No matter what, guys. No matter what, guys. No matter what. They're willing to take down the enemy, and they're willing to take down powerful criminals such as Golden Knight, Red Knight, Ghostmaster, Black Mass, Dark Witch Laura, Amber, the Goddess of Power, Dark Light, Shadow Master, Goddess of Life, Dark Witch Boy, Dark Witch Girl, Dark Grey and the Dark King, Dark Grey and the Dark King, the Dark Sisters, the new Lord of Magic and his Ancient Secret Society, Red Bolt and the Dark Order, and Showface and Ghostmaster and Fire Dragon, taking down these powerful adversaries, meaning they'll do everything else to fight against their worst enemy and against their greatest enemy, and in taking them down and stripping them of their power, and even frequently clashing with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders in order to restore peace and balance to the sacred universe and to the known universes and to the other universes, such as the Golden Universe, the Mixel Universe, Robotic Universe, Star Universe, Sacred Universe, Over Universe, over universe and all those universes that I just had mentioned in order to restore peace and balance and prosperity to the known universe and to the rest of the known worlds, or to the rest of the known worlds of the sacred world and of the sacred universe, and to restoring humanities to the supernatural of the sacred world and to the aliens of the sacred world, no matter what. They believe that this war is inevitable and it's still continuing to go on, but no matter what, they formed an alliance with the universal heroes and with the group of sacred heroes and with the sacred team in order to restore peace and finality and justice to the sacred world and to the rest of sacred existence. No matter what, their goal is a clear goal: to fighting one of their greatest and most formidable enemy and in taking them down, no matter what, even their greatest adversary, Black Spot and Watermaster and the Dark Fates and Lord Fate, and taking them down, and Lord Shadowjack and Golden Knight and the God and Dark Light, and the seconds a group of dark magic users who believe are threatening the sacred peace that they're fighting for, who believe that they're threatening the sacred peace that they're fighting for, and they're willing to take them down, no matter what, guys, no matter what. They are the threats of the sacred world, and they're the greatest threats that ever lived, that ever existed throughout the rest of sacred history, and they're willing to take them down. They are a powerful group of old men and old women who have existed for many centuries and for millennia, who provide their wisdom and their help and their great assistance throughout the war in helping the 4 nation hunters and the 5 nation hunters, the 10 nation hunters, in fighting against the dark monsters and against their worst enemy and against their greatest enemy. No matter what, guys. Well, guys, I all hope you enjoyed this episode, and I all hope will have a wonderful, blessed evening and an afternoon. I will see you tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. I will see you definitely tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate your support, and you guys viewing my episodes means a lot to me. Literally means a lot to me. So I'm very grateful for you guys. No matter what, literally grateful for you guys. Have a wonderful afternoon and a wonderful evening. I will see you tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.